Welcome to Commercial Real Estate Unfiltered, the podcast that takes the mystery out of commercial real estate and makes it accessible for everyone. I'm Caleb David, a broker, investor, and community builder with over a decade of experience helping businesses and individuals bring their visions to life. Here we break down the market, share expert insights, and talk about the opportunities that commercial real estate creates for businesses and communities alike. No fluff, no gatekeeping, just real, unfiltered conversations that empower you to navigate the space with confidence. So whether you're an investor, a business owner, or simply curious about commercial real estate, welcome. Let's dive in. Welcome, everybody. This is Caleb David, and I am thrilled to have our guest on today who has been a huge part of my journey. And I think her insights are going to bring some incredible light to your life. And I'm really thrilled to have Autum Romano with us today. She's an educator, an author, a coach, and a body worker who's passionate about nervous system regulation, which we all need as a foundation for transformative whole health. She uses a bottom-up approach. Health and healing comes quickly and gently when you do it that way. She works with clients in person in Colorado Springs, but she also supports families and individuals across the globe, combing nervous system regulation practices. This is so fascinating. The safe and sound protocol, somatic guidance, and tools. And she is delighted and honored to assist in your quest for greater health. Autum, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be with you today, Caleb.
Absolutely. And I love that you're outside. Beautiful day in Colorado Springs today. And let's jump right in.
Okay.
Let's just talk about our nervous system. How does that affect us professionally?
Basically, if I'm going to just do an overview, I work a lot with the Polyvagal Theory and the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is the largest cranial nerve in our body, and it is always scanning the environment for cues of safety and cues of danger. And then that information comes into mostly the body and then goes to the brain. So 80% of our vagus is afferent. And so there are sensory fibers in mostly our gut, mostly our belly. And then that information goes to our brain and then informs our whole body on what it should do next.
Yeah.
So that will, and this is before our thoughts or our opinions, because it's going into the brainstem, and then that is controlling how our heart is working, how our breath is working, a lot about how our vital organs are functioning. And then that's even before the social engagement system. So the social engagement system is my voice, my ears, my face. It's basically when you see someone and this is going to go well, or this isn't going to go well.
Yeah.
What we talk about is that gut feeling.
Yeah.
That's the conscious understanding of our neuroception. So our neuroception is detection without awareness. That's our body scanning the environment. And then so like your face is giving me all kinds of information. It's giving me information by your eyebrows, by just your face. We can tell a grumpy face and we can tell a nice face. And then there's everything in between. There is the tone of our voice. When someone has a really flat affect, there's just not a lot happening in their face and their voice, and it's a really flat. Like for some people, then their bodies will respond. That is a threat. So it's really fascinating in that we're always using our social engagement system if we have access to it, but sometimes our bodies can move into a threat response and we lose our social engagement system. So for one, we're not going to, if our body is like in a protection mode, we're not going to have good access to our social engagement system. And so we're then not going to be able to be giving those cues to whomever we're working with. And that's the basics. When I was thinking about our conversation, I was thinking about your work. The interesting thing for me about real estate is that you have to do a lot of problem solving and conflict resolution. And so if everything's going well, we get to stay in our social engagement system. And so when I think about our nervous system and how we're working professionally, if we get to stay rooted and grounded, then we get to offer that support to the person we're working with. Regardless, hopefully, how they're showing up.
Yeah.
So that's another question, right? That's like, how deep does your well have to be
Yeah.
for you to stay regulated if somebody else is dysregulated?
Yes.
So that's the beginning to me of that question.
Yeah. So, what are some things that, obviously, where real estate is such a, can be super fast paced, where there's a lot of waiting sometimes.
Mm,
What are some simple practices that
mm,
someone can do? For example, right before this,
mm.
in between my podcasts, I was like, okay, I'm feeling like a little bit like uptight. So, I did a short little tapping exercise. But what are some practical, simple things that people can do that cost nothing
Yeah.
to get into that place where they're a little bit more regulated, a little bit more grounded and into their
Hmm.
system?
My first thought or question is I would want them to first have sort of an awareness of where they are. And what I mean where they are, like, if we're going to talk about if we're regulated or dysregulated,
Yeah.
if we're feeling well supported inside of our body or if we're not. So
Yeah.
first that takes some interoception. Interoception is like being able to feel your body on the inside. And so maybe just a moment, that could be eyes downcast or eyes closed, to just go inside and notice, like, okay, am I feeling like confident and open? Am I feeling squeezed up? Am I feeling kind of wound up? Am I feeling, oh, I got nothing to offer?
Yeah.
Because there's, like I said, the body's either like in protection mode or connection mode. So if
Mm,
it's not feeling confident and open, we want to do, like you're saying, a couple things to help it prep.
mm,
But there's two, it's really helpful to know if we're in more of, I use the colors, if we're in more of a red state, which is a little bit more what you're talking about, a little like
yeah.
tense and
Yeah.
wound up, nervous, anxious, tight, irritable. Those are all kind of things that we think of red. Where
Yeah.
blue is just, oh God, I'm so tired, or I'm so overwhelmed, or
Mm,
the last thing I want to do is deal with a person,
yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
if somebody is in a little bit more blue shutdown, I think that movement is typically the best, but
Yeah.
something really gentle. So it might first, this is the work, sensory motor psychotherapy. Say you're slumped over and you like hold your chest and just pull yourself up.
Mm,
Maybe even just like a stretch. Like
mm,
sometimes being able to just open feels really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Drinking a glass of water can help.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple, but it actually will help activate the ventral branch of the vagus nerve, that social engagement system here.
Yeah.
And then, so for the blue, I would do a slow ramp up. So
Yep.
all those would be a little slower. And then I would try and do some kind of bigger movements that are going to be, have some more sensory input.
Yeah.
Jump up and down a couple times.
Yeah.
So you could do jumping jacks or even just wave your arms around type of
Yeah.
thing. I'll walk around the block. I think of that kind of
Mm,
you can even bounce on your heels, where you lift up and just bounce on your heels. That can reverberate through the body and give you some stimulus where you are actually bringing in a little bit of that sympathetic, a little bit of red energy, and that can
yeah.
help.
Yeah.
But the tapping, I think, can help too with
Yeah.
blue.
Yep.
And then when it's red, you're wanting to take off some of the excess energy.
Yes.
So tapping, a little bit of shaking can help, just kind of
Yeah.
shaking the arms or legs, that kind of thing, like a
Yeah.
sigh or humming, singing, those always work. So
Yeah.
it can be like covert or overt. If you're all by
Mhm.
yourself and you're like, blah, 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 and you jump up and down a couple times, right? But
Yeah.
say you're like with people, you could even be like you could sing a little bit and
Yeah.
nobody knows that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you can hum a little bit. And like I said, drink a glass of water. There are a couple of things that are totally covert that
Mm,
can be done in a professional setting, and no one's the wiser about what you're up to.
yeah. No, I love that. And I often find when I get overwhelmed, sometimes even just
Yeah,
crossing my hands across my chest,
yeah,
taking that meaningful, just deep breath
yes, just that.
to just calm the nervous system little by
Yes,
little.
yes.
And I know sometimes
In,
we feel it in our bodies, right? Like one of the
Oh,
books you and
always.
I talk
Yeah.
about all the time is The Body Keeps the Score. And it's a tough read, but it's also super
Mm,
informative
mm,
because I think so often we get stuck in our mind and we just push through and
mhm,
we don't take our body into consideration.
mhm,
I often find sometimes I feel like a tightness in my throat,
mm,
tightness in my chest or my
yeah.
stomach, just kind of like a feeling of dread. So what are some of those things? What are they, what's our body trying to tell us?
It's a bit of a mayday, so
Mm,
that's good. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, we've crashed ashore and everyone on board's dead, and not that kind of mayday, but just
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
we're we need some support.
Hmm.
And that's when if we're only in our thinking mind, because our whole body is our mind. But
Mm,
say we do have a sort of the divide of the thinking, what we think of as the brain mind,
yeah,
and we're leaving the body behind, we've lost so much intelligence. Because again, if you're a little bit tight, same thing, I did my own prep to get on. And what that means is that our brains are always going to work better because
yeah.
when we're in that social engagement system that I said about, oh, I'm really regulated and I'm going to be able to offer that to you, you're going to be able to offer that to me.
Hmm.
Dr. Porges, the creator of Polyvagal Theory, he talks about that as accessibility. So, what's so cool is that also your brain works the best in that way
Yeah,
because that is when you can creatively problem solve
yeah,
and connect. So that's when you get to
yes,
stay when a team is working together and they're struggling and they're like, I wonder if it was that way, instead of being like, "Ugh, why did they do that?"
yeah,
Whatever it is that when we feel like it's about us,
yes,
and then our bodies
yes,
get tight. So the thing is, if we never know what's happening, then we don't know and we can't support it.
right.
And so what it's telling us is that we need a little bit of support.
Yeah,
And so it's a chicken egg, but it goes back and forth because the more you get to have that interoceptive understanding of noticing what it is,
mm,
and for some people, it might not be body sensations right away, but it could be thought patterns.
mm,
Like, so interesting for me,
yeah,
I've had a lot of actually real estate, but a lot of interesting things going on in my life that are just, I can feel a little bit of dysregulation more frequently. And
yeah,
sometimes it's just the mind. So I'm at the gym and I was a professional kettlebell trainer for 10 years. So
mm,
I know a lot about lifting. When I'm in my best self, I'm like, oh, look, that person's doing that an interesting way. And I'm fine. I can go about my business. But if
yeah,
for some reason I'm a little bit close, I'm like, oh my God, why are they doing it that way? I really should go tell them. It's hilarious. So I can tell that
yeah,
my mind is not super regulated
mm,
because it's having some thought patterns that are just not my best self. So
yeah,
sometimes people, it's that awareness isn't just sensory information.
yeah,
Sometimes it's maybe some patterns that let you know you're not being your very best self.
yeah,
And so there's always those things that it can tell us, okay, what can we bring in to help support?
yeah,
And a lot of times it's the little breaks, like we were
yes,
talking about that, but it also means, oh, okay, maybe I need to make sure that I stop by the gym before I go home.
yeah,
Or, oh, this is what happens when I'm really tired. I need to really prioritize my sleep for the next few
yeah,
nights. Sometimes it's simple things like that too. It's both the sort of prevention and like upkeep of our bodies
mhm.
and that kind of, oh, I just need 3 minutes to help support my body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. And I love that concept about listening to your thought patterns as well, because I know for
Mm-hmm.
me, I can get in my head and just
Mm-hmm.
like the thoughts start racing, and it's just like it's like almost like intrusive.
Yes.
And so, someone who's struggling, and I think a lot of people, and especially nowadays with social media and
Yep.
everything, what's going on in politics and in the world and all of that, you just like these nonstop thoughts that are just kind of like subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
What are some ways that you can get your mind to quiet?
There's a couple of them. It's if anyone hasn't heard of like the 5 4 3 2 1, that's a
Mhm.
great one because it's just prefrontal cortex. So
Mm,
it's looking at things in your environment and using your senses.
yeah,
5 things I can touch, four
yeah,
things I can hear. And it
yeah,
doesn't have to, it could be 5 things I can taste. It doesn't matter. You're
right.
just, or You're just working through it. And
Mm.
what that is doing is it's taking you out of maybe the brainstem and more into prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
Another one, you can count backwards from 100 by something a little bit trickier, like 7 or 3.
Yeah.
And just that kind of coming into that conscious part of the brain and doing that, that
Yes.
gives a break. Another one I really love is what I learned in going to forest therapy walks.
Mm.
So I'm sitting outside of this little leaf here.
Yeah.
But even if you're sitting inside and you have a plant, or you can even we're nature. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, I miss nature now." I'm like, "It's never far away because we
Yes.
are nature." I mean,
Yeah.
we are nature. We are the same as leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, we are a part of the natural world. But so if you have the opportunity, say you're outside or you have anything, you can look at your body too, and you just focus on the details.
Mm.
So say you just have your hand, you could just look at your fingerprints,
Mm.
and then you could look at like how they're different, right? So you have your fingerprint pattern, but then we get these wrinkles
Yeah.
in our fingertips, and that's pretty interesting, right? So
Mm.
just taking a moment to focus in with a little bit of wonder, because it
Yes.
might surprise you. You might be like, oh, look, that's like a little bit different pattern, and trying to see beyond what this is no like societal thing. This is looking at your body as the natural world.
Yeah.
So this is maybe you can see your veins. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Or if you had a leaf, same thing. You start to look at the pattern of the leaf. And then if you hold it up, can you start to see the individual cells of the leaf? Maybe it will remind you, maybe you've ever looked through a leaf in a microscope, but just taking the moment to, it's the same thing really as what we were just talking about,
Yeah.
of bringing that mind's eye focus. So you can bring
Yes.
it a pattern of counting backwards. You can bring it into the pattern of what's touching my skin, what am I smelling,
Yeah.
or the pattern of looking into something in close detail in the natural world. It could be a rock, right? So I have some
Yeah.
little rocks here,
Yeah.
and it could just be like, oh, wow. So this rock is made up of several different kinds of sizes of, it's
Mm.
like an amalgamation.
Yeah.
And you just let your mind go into it for a little bit. And it
Yeah.
can be a wonderful break from
Yeah.
those thought patterns. And it's a bottom up way
Mm.
to intercept that,
Yeah.
because when we have those patterns, it's interesting. It's in the trauma world where say it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's always nice when you can intercept it and like bring yourself to an intersection you want to be
Mm.
at. And so using nature or the body for that is my
Yeah.
favorite way.
Yeah. And so it sounds to me like it's almost like a reconnection with yourself
Mhm.
and with what is around you, feeling the
Yeah.
breeze or whatever that might be.
Yeah. It's either inside your body or outside your body, but body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would guess like the opposite of connection mode is when your body goes into protection mode. And how would you compare the two?
So protection mode is what you're talking about, dysregulation. And that's fight or flight or flee or
Mm.
shutdown. So fight, fight, flee, those are all what I would call red. And
Mhm.
then blue is that sort of shutdown. Either I just want to withdraw.
Yeah.
And so connection mode is feeling steady
Hmm.
and receptive, wanting to engage. And it's not just wanting to, it's having your whole nervous system, your whole body
Hmm.
is set up for it.
Yeah.
It's if you've slept well and eaten, then you're like prepped to go for your hike.
Yeah.
So it's that you have to have everything in order to be ready for social connection.
Yeah.
And the tricky thing is we don't choose that. Like our body has already decided which one it's in. Now we
Yeah.
can notice where we are and then help support it,
Yeah.
but we don't decide. We don't wake up and go, connection. That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
We
And
can only notice where we are.
yeah, and I'm curious in the connection mode, is there a particular color or colors that you
Yeah, green.
great, that's
So
what I was
green,
thinking.
what? Yeah. So I wrote a book about polyvagal theory. Sorry, can you hear that? Is it really loud?
No, I can hear it, but it's not too loud.
It's not too loud.
It's
Sorry, truck,
nature.
truck. Trash truck. No, it's trash truck.
Oh, trash.
Um, you never know what the filters are going to catch and what they're not. So I wrote a children's book about polyvagal theory where I use the colors. So green is what we would call the ventral branch, or that's synonymous with what I've been calling social engagement system
Hmm.
and connection.
Yeah.
So there are things like, say you're with someone, okay, let's not say personal, let's say professional. Even then, say you're with someone, you can tell you're in connection mode and they're not.
Yeah.
You can still try. Like,
Yeah.
you can still try and bring them in. It might be giving them a moment of
Hmm.
something that's a little heated. So that's like a talk about the weather kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could, if you know what their special interests are or any of their areas of strength, that
Yeah.
can be great.
Yeah.
If they have kids, ask about them. If they have pets, ask about the pets. If you know that they fish, has anything been biting lately?
Yeah.
And so it's really great if we can go where they are a little bit to throw out a little life preserver
Yeah. Yeah.
rescue, right? To help come back.
Yeah.
Now, like humor is really wonderful. Humor has to be just right.
Yeah.
You can't throw out a joke if things are too tense. But if
Yeah.
you can inch it in and
Hmm.
then maybe humor, but there are ways to also help bring a system back in social engagement.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed in working with you, and there's been times where whether I'm on your massage table or just thinking or whatever, there's times where sometimes when I close my eyes, it's like I can almost see colors, shapes, patterns.
Ooh, cool.
And like I've even found even just closing your eyes and noticing those things, just be like,
Mm,
oh, that's a weird squiggly line or different things like that.
super
To
cool.
just even just taking a moment to just close your eyes and
That's
soak that
really
in.
neat. Do
That's some,
you, wait, can I have a follow-up question on that?
of course.
Does music or things do that for you? I don't have a super intense,
Yeah, no,
like, see colors or shapes.
music can. I
Yeah.
think it has to be something that's very soothing.
Okay.
If I just turn on the radio, to me, it just adds to the distraction and to the
Okay.
noise. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's just for me. And so I've had to figure out what are the things that I can do to nurture and grow
Right.
my best self. And I
Totally.
would imagine that's different for everyone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was just curious because that's like synesthesia when
Mm.
someone has a sense that comes up from another sense that isn't typical. So
Mm.
you might just have a little smattering, but sometimes like words will have a color for people
Yeah.
or so anyways, when you were talking about because it's neat, not everybody has like a visual experience like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, how do we begin? I know this is a process,
Hmm.
right? It's a journey. How do we
Hmm.
start to unlock the intelligence of our
Hmm.
body?
I think first noticing what feels good and what doesn't
Mm.
in the simplest way you can,
Yeah.
like people, events, activities,
Yeah.
and just notice like, yeah, what kind of brings out my best self, what doesn't. And first, it's just a little bit of a reckoning of
Yeah.
just kind of collecting some data and then starting. I like to think about it as playing, and I don't know if everybody loves that term, but just finding some creativity around it
Mhm.
and then starting with some of those basic things. So, like you were
Yeah.
talking about tapping.
Yeah.
So, there's a great tapping. Do you use the tapping app?
Yes.
Just using the tapping app. And so I used to go all the way through it and then, doing it just because they tell you to, and then realizing, oh, okay, I really like this one. And then I can just
Mhm.
settle on this one. So I think just trying things.
Yeah.
And I like to try it from a body standpoint. Okay, so like you're saying, you close your eyes, you do a little scan of the body, and then you try something
Mm.
like tapping, right? Maybe you do like the tapping app or watch a YouTube, you give it whatever, 3 to 5 minutes. You don't even need a lot. And then you stop, close your eyes, you scan the body again. Is it more open? Is it more tight? You
Yeah.
try simple, like box breathing. Inhale for a count of four, hold for a count of four, exhale for a count of four, hold for a count of four.
Yeah.
Or if that's too hard, you just breathe in, you hold at the top, and you exhale.
Yeah.
Hold at the bottom.
Yeah.
And you do that for 3 minutes. The
Yeah.
same thing. You close your eyes. Did that help? Did it not help?
Yeah.
So I think first you just Maybe experiment with 3 to 5 things
Mm.
and then see what is the
Yeah.
best payoff.
It's
And maybe
almost
it'll
like you're
take
creating space for yourself.
totally. That's
Yeah.
it. And it's a science experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is. It's
Yeah.
not that I'm going to work really hard and then see what kind of outcome I can get, because that's just not the way that this stuff
Right.
works. It's more, I am going to, because the intervening variable is our nervous
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
And we don't like boss it around. It's like our microbiome outnumbers us.
Yeah.
So we influence it by our environment and what
Yep.
we eat and what kind of products we put on our bodies, but we aren't like in charge of it. So it's just
Yes.
the nervous system, same thing. We get to influence our nervous system,
Yeah.
but it's really important for us to give it some input and then notice.
Yes.
And then is this seem like it's helping or
Yeah.
not? And helping can be just that kind of opening or tightening feeling.
Yeah, and I'm an empath. So,
Mm-hmm.
I can walk into a room and I can feel
Mm-hmm.
the energy, right? And it can be like an assault on the senses. And
Mm-hmm.
it's you almost take that on. And one thing that you and I had talked about is when you feel that closing in, even just being like, okay, I'm gonna push in, push out, and almost just create like a
Mm-hmm.
boundary around yourself. And it is that creating space around yourself so that you can get back in touch with your body, with yourself, and listen to your gut, you know.
Absolutely.
And you touched on that earlier is like that gut feeling.
Yep.
And like, how important are these gut feelings?
Oh man, really important. Every once in a while, they're always true.
Mm,
Most of the time, it's intuition.
mm,
And so it's a little tricky to tease apart intuition and fear. That just
mm.
takes a little bit of time inside of your body to get to know the difference.
Yeah,
But it's really important because, again, we can talk about it from a little bit more like esoteric and abstract. Oh, I want to enjoy this networking event more,
yeah,
or I want to have more success at this networking event. But also, when our body is feeling that way, it's literally an indicator that our body isn't experiencing great health.
yeah,
Now, I'm not saying it's, oh my God, you got cancer. No, I'm not saying that.
yeah,
But it's all the same thing. So, like when we're having that, when our body is in protection mode
mm,
and we're noticing that we're not feeling available for a great conversation with
yeah,
someone, we're not in connection mode. What's really fascinating is that our actual physiological health
mm,
is supported in connection mode. I mean, we have a vagal brake on our heart. This is the ventral branch.
yeah,
How much it's even down to how we can chew and swallow.
mm,
Our ability to try new foods
yeah,
and to chew them correctly and swallow them correctly
yeah,
it is built on the same connection mode of our vagus. It's not just like this esoteric, like, oh, mushy, wonderful
yeah,
stuff that you and I
yeah,
love,
yeah,
but it's also, I swear to God, your organs are functioning better
yeah,
when you're in connection mode. So that's how important it is. It
yeah,
really is everything.
yeah,
It
yeah,
honestly is. Our bodies, we can talk about the iceberg of the behavior of
mm,
what we see if someone's doing well,
yeah,
but underneath it is like, how much are you resting? And when you're resting, because when our body rests, it's so cool. Our body is designed to heal itself, it does it
yeah,
all the time, but it can only do that when it has the right conditions.
yeah,
If we're feeling those things from our body, it is the behavior or the awareness of
mhm,
what's going wrong under the surface. So
yes,
it's
yeah.
really important for all of our well-being.
Yeah, and it's that kind of that self-care that is not just, oh, I'm going to get a massage. Like it is a much
Mhm.
bigger picture.
It is. I
It
call it
is,
discipline self-care.
yes, I love that. And
It's the
I
hard
like
stuff.
and I tell people all the time, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, and there's times where I know that I have all this stuff to do and I'm overwhelmed.
Mhm.
But taking that intentional time to stop, even just laying down on the couch for 20 minutes and getting back into regulation, I find that my brain and my body functions so much different. Because like
Mhm.
before, I could be like stumbling over things or knocking things over on my desk
Yes,
or,
yes,
any
yes.
things like that. And I can't just focus, but to
Yes.
take that time and space to
Yes.
just stop,
Yes.
get back in touch, get
Yes.
grounded, then you get back to work and it's like you're a whole different person.
Totally. And we can do that even in a smaller place. We're
Mm.
so used to, remember when stoplights were just stoplights and now
Yeah.
they're a time to do some administrative tasks. Well, it's
Right.
like, even
Yes.
if we're just at a stoplight,
Yeah.
say you get there and it turns red, you can close your eyes for a breath without it turning green.
Right.
And it's like, you take a deep breath, you take a long exhale. Maybe you open your eyes so you can still see, but you take a deep breath in and an exhale.
Yeah.
Because maybe your couch is too far away,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that is available to you at a stoplight,
Yes. Yes. That's super
in an
practical.
elevator.
Yeah.
The moment, say you're going into a business meeting, you stand outside the door for 1 second, you feel yourself tall, that your body that goes all the way down into the earth comes back out of your head, goes all the way up, connects to everything, comes back.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, and then you open the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I know that we could talk probably for hours because we usually do every time we get together. But how can people find you? What would
Hmm.
you like to share? You've got the book for kids.
Hmm.
And gosh, I think what a great tool for parents because I
Hmm.
find our generation, we weren't taught anything about this. We didn't know about it.
Totally. Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
you're a parent, I like go to Autumn's website, get a copy of this book because I think it then also opens not just connection with the child and their reality and their body, but also that connection with you.
And
And
it can like democratize the information of polyvagal theory and then normalize that we all have a body. So, like, parents move from connection mode and protection mode
yeah,
to all of us do. So, if we can just normalize that, then we don't have to pretend
yeah,
and we can be accountable.
yeah,
We can be accountable. Like you said, take breaks when we need it,
yeah,
and in the professional world and our personal world, but there is no such thing as someone is green and regulated and in connection mode 100% of the time. It doesn't exist.
yeah,
So if we can just normalize that we shift in and out and then
yeah.
take breaks when we need it to help support each other. There's a new book that I'm really proud of. I didn't write it. It's a new book by Dr. Porges and Karen Ondergo called Safe and Sound. I do have a
Mm,
case study in it. And that is my favorite way for people to learn more about the
mm,
auditory intervention I use, Safe and Sound
yes,
Protocol, and polyvagal theory.
yes,
And it's neat because it has a lot of science, but then it has the story woven in on these complex cases,
yeah,
and then the hope
yeah,
of how healing began and unfolds for them.
yeah.
So
So
it's
maybe explain a
quite
little bit to our
amazing.
listeners about what the Safe and Sound protocol is.
So it's created by Dr. Porges, the author of Polyvagal Theory, and it's an acoustic vagal stimulator. So music that's created in a lab that influences our auditory system and then impacts our vagus nerve. So it increases our heart rate variability and our overall well-being. A lot of times that brings a feeling of peace into a
Yeah,
body, that the connection mode, it
yeah,
activates the social engagement system and it helps support overall well-being.
awesome. Autumn, where can people find you? How do they reach out to you and how do they learn more?
My website's a good place to start. Autumn Romano. The only trick is that I don't have an N on Autumn, so it's just AUTUM ROMANO. That's how you spell it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Romano.com. That's the easiest way. You can always email me from there, book appointments. But I also just have a lot of resources. I have a lot of videos, and I want it to be a place where people can, fall down some rabbit holes.
Awesome. We'll make sure that all of your contact information is available in the show notes. Autumn, thanks so much for your time. I know that people are going to get so much out of this. I know I have. And thanks for joining us. And I look forward to the next time we get to talk.
Thanks, Caleb. I'm really glad I know you.
You too.
Bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of Commercial Real Estate Unfiltered. I hope you found value in today's conversation and feel more confident about navigating the world of commercial real estate. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with somebody who could benefit from these insights. You can connect with me, Caleb David, and the team at David Commercial Real Estate. Just check the show notes for more information. Thanks for listening, and remember, creating space is more than just real estate. It's about building community. See you next time.